So now we're going to take a look at the color wheel, and we're going to talk about warm and cool colors. The color wheel is in your workbook. So warm colors, I always think about red, yellow, and orange, and they evoke warmth because they remind us of things like sun and fire. Cool colors like blue, green, and purple evoke a cool feeling because they remind us of cooler things like water or grass. So when I'm using acrylic paint, I generally stick with either cool or warm colors in any given layer to keep the painting from looking too muddy, unless muddy is what I'm going for. The layers dry quickly, so you'll see as you experiment, it's pretty easy. You can add a layer of reds, oranges, and yellows, let that dry, and then come back and add a layer of greens and blues. So you have learned quite a bit about painting today. Acrylic paint is very forgiving. You can use acrylic paint to paint in layers. You can use paint to cover large areas on your paper, or you can make marks and glaze over them with paint later. You can paste in images you like. You can doodle on your pages, make geometric shapes like circles or squares. If you can draw something. You can make organic shapes. You can use a tool to make marks, caps or sponges, or the palette knife or craft sticks. You can use a stencil. You can use your fingers. You can use leaves or even vegetables to make marks with paint. You can use the pages you ripped out to play and see how the marks look. So today, all you're doing is getting used to how paint goes on paper. And in future modules, you'll be adding layers and you'll be checking in with your intuition to see what to do next. You're also going to be writing a lot of words in your journal. Now you can layer paint over words, and you'll learn to use your intuition without overthinking it. As you paint, some of your words will still be somewhat visible, and that adds interest to what you're creating. It makes your journal uniquely yours. And if you don't want to cover over your words, you can copy them out, make a copy before you start painting. So now let's have an insightful experience together. Creating in an art journal allows for not only play, but also the opportunity for self-reflection. So when you journal, you notice, how are you choosing to view and experience your life? Because everything you do is a choice. When you create and take notes in your private journal, you witness your choices, and often they are very revealing. So now let's do an insightful exercise. Can you remember what it felt like to be 5 years old? In a few moments, let's see if you can recapture that feeling. But first, let's experience a special pranayama together. So today we're going to do the pranayama Durga, or 3-part breath. It's a deep breathing technique that engages the full capacity of your lungs and increases oxygen in your body. It reduces stress and anxiety and brings more health, well-being, and vitality to your entire system through your breath. So Durga is a Sanskrit word that means full or complete. So Durga teaches your body to breathe completely using your entire lung capacity. And during 3-part breath, each part of your lungs is filled entirely with breath, moving into the belly, and then the rib cage, and then the upper chest, and then completely emptied, reversing that flow. Durga can bring as much as 7 times more oxygen into your system than normal shallow breathing. And just a few minutes of this simple exercise can train your lungs to breathe more deeply throughout the day, which brings in more prana, vitality, and life force with each inhalation, and allows more cleansing and purification with each exhalation. So Durga brings about a profound serenity, preparing your mind to meditate and to calm your mind and release stress and anxiety. So when you're practicing any kind of pranayama, just remember to breathe slowly and mindfully to receive the full benefits. You shouldn't feel hurried or rushed. And if you ever start feeling lightheaded or dizzy, just stop, breathe normally, and stay seated until that sensation passes. So just begin by sitting comfortably with your spine erect, your shoulders relaxed. In the future, if you want to, you can lay down on your back as an option, and let your hands rest easily in your lap. Take a slow inhale, and as you exhale, place your left hand on your belly, on your lower abdomen below your belly button, and your right hand on the lower edge of your rib cage. Now close your eyes and take a slow, deep, intentional breath in through your nose and out again through your nose. You don't need to match your breath to my words. Go at your own pace. And with the inhale, focus on the natural rise of your belly, followed by the expansion of your rib cage. As you exhale, exhale completely, releasing all the air from your belly. As you inhale, notice the rise of your belly, the expansion of your rib cage. As you exhale completely, notice the contraction of your rib cage, the lowering of your belly into your belly, rib cage, and upper chest, out through your upper chest, rib cage, and lower belly, in and out, mindfully, slowly, deeply. Now bring your left hand up to rest on the center of your chest, just below your collarbone. And as you inhale, feel your upper chest rise. And then when you reverse the flow, as you exhale completely from your chest, ribs, and belly. Imagine you're filling a glass with water. You inhale into the bottom of the glass, your belly. It fills first, then the middle of your glass, your rib cage, and then your upper chest. And then you empty the glass on the exhale. The top empties, then the middle, and then the bottom. And just mindfully keep repeating that pattern, focusing on the 3-part movement. Belly, ribs, and chest expand. Chest and ribs and belly contract. Inhaling and exhaling fully. And when you feel comfortable with the rhythm, you can relax your hands and let them rest easily in your lap. So when you're doing a pranayama, maybe 5 to 10 rounds, and that will bring about a wonderful sense of calm. So when you're ready, let go of the 3-part breath, and now just pay attention to your breath. And notice that as you have been focusing on your breath, your mind became quieter. And just continue to breathe in a mindful way as you listen to my words, noticing the inflow and outflow, staying relaxed and comfortable. There is a continuity of awareness within you that has been with you all your life. And that awareness is the same before and after each passing thought and experience. Even as the constant stream of your life experiences change, the experiencer within you has always been there. That aware presence is with you now and was with you when you were 5 years old. It's always there waiting for you to make the connection with it. And once that connection is made, you realize that you have access to your inner wisdom. You can always witness your choices in life. When you get closer to your wisdom, exciting things begin to emerge, more joy, love, creativity without effort, struggle, or judgment. So in this very simple exercise, you are purely being yourself. You're experiencing your breath with a quiet mind. Nothing more than this is needed to find your path to inner wisdom. As effortless as it is to notice yourself, it's just as effortless to experience creativity and connect to your potential. There's no work to do, nothing to fix or repair. You have a world of potential hidden inside you. You just have to quiet down and access it. So just being intentional in your breath can take you there as you're doing right now. And now that you have access to your inner stillness, let's spend a couple of minutes more in this connection. And just breathe normally now. Take a moment to consider this centering thought. Creativity is my birthright. Think it and believe it. Creativity is my birthright. Creativity is one of the best things about being human, and that same creativity that bubbled up inside you when you were 5 years old is still there, waiting within you, hoping that you will take a moment to play. Creativity, your birthright, has been in you your whole life. Once you learn to tap into this creative source within you, you feel the wonderful connection to your imagination and intuition, and you can access it at any time. Remember the excitement and the freedom of being 5 years old and creating something. Remember yourself coloring with crayons or playing in the mud or building something with blocks. Maybe the artist within you got suppressed somewhere along the way in childhood or in your teen years. And in a moment, we'll try some things to help you reclaim some of that creative joy. So right now, here with your eyes closed, feel yourself as you were at 5 years old. Pretend that you are there. Really feel it. Imagine you are 5 years old, imaginative, creative, innocent, with no inner critic, ready to play. And when you feel ready, open your eyes. So congratulations, you just quieted your mind and used your breath as a type of meditation. And now let's invite your inner artist out to play. So if you haven't already, open your eyes and you can take a crayon or a pen or pencil, and calling forth your inner 5-year-old, I want you to draw, just as you might have then, right in your art journal. If you have your workbook open, you're going to see some examples where it says creativity is your birthright. Now, the skill level is not the important part. Go for the feeling of being 5 years old. With joy and freedom, what you create will be perfectly imperfect. Nobody cares what it looks like. Nobody cares what you draw. Go for the feeling, not the end result. Maybe you'll draw the sun or the moon or your child at home or a tree or a flower or a stick figure of yourself or some friends and family, your pet. Go fast and easily without any critique, without any judgment. Very simple, very innocent and free. And feel that creativity bubble up inside you as though you were 5 years old again. So around 5 years old, you had some experiences making art. Enjoy how it feels to create something like that again. And now on the same page as you're drawing, add to the page and write down some words that describe some of your first creative experiences. These words or memories might be positive or not so positive. I have a positive memory of my mother encouraging me because I loved to make up poems as a kindergartner. Before I could even write, I loved rhyming. Cat and hat and school and fool and cup and up and can and plan. And my mom praised me for my creativity. And years later, I found out she wrote down my simple kindergarten poems and saved them for me in a special book. When I graduated from high school, she gave me this scrapbook of poems that I had made up. I remember finger painting. I loved the feel of the paint on my hands. I loved the smock I wore. I loved standing in front of the easel and creating something uniquely mine. I remember getting a new box of Crayola crayons as a gift, not the big box with the sharpener, but a pretty big box, a new coloring book, and that feeling of possibility. I remember using safety scissors in kindergarten and then gluing primary colors of construction paper and making a collage. I remember the smell of the kindergarten glue. What are some of your creative memories from childhood?